Hi all students, in this session I will be dealing with the retroversion of uterus and prolapse of the uterus. So first session, that is retroversion of uterus. So in the retroversion of, see, if you're seeing this picture, this is the normal anteverted uterus, okay? Then anteriorly bladder is there, posteriorly the rectum is there, okay? And retroversion means the corpus and the cervical part of the uterus, it will come in a straight line, and the whole uterus, it is reverting backwards, okay? It will turn backwards in relation with the long axis of the birth canal. So the birth canal here, so here if you can see, this is the birth canal, that is the vaginal region. So the vaginal region, cervix and the uterus, everything will come in a straight line. That is, it is occurring as a result of when the uterus and the cervix, when they are reverting backwards or when they are turning backwards. So that is known as retroversion. Clear? So what is retroversion? When the long axis of the corpus and the cervix, so long axis of the corpus and the cervix, they will come in a line, and the complete organ, it is turning backside, so that everything will come in a straight line to the birth canal. That is known as retroversion of the uterus. What is retroflexion? So if you see retroflexion, the dotted one, it is a normal anteverted uterus. The corpus, it will bend backwards. See, this is the internal os. At the level of the internal os, the corpus will be reverting backwards, or it will be bending backwards. Only when the corpus is bending backwards at the level of the internal os, that is known as retroflexion. So both retroversion and retroflexion, togetherly it is known as retro displacement of the uterus or uterine displacement. There are 3 degrees for the retroversion or the retro displacement, that is first degree, second degree and the third degree. So what is first degree? When the fundus is in vertical part and the fundus is pointing towards the sacral promontory. So what is sacral promontory? It is the first vertebra of the sacrum, that is the sacral promontory. The fundus, it is bending backwards and it will be pointing towards the sacral promontory. That is known as first degree retroversion. What is second degree? In the second degree, the fundus will be lying in the sacral hollow. Sacral hollow means the posterior part of the sacrum. So the fundus will be lying in the hollow of the sacrum, but it will not go beyond or below the internal os. That is second degree. And the third degree is the fundus will be completely bending backwards and it will go below the internal os. That is third degree retroversion. So degrees, it is first degree, second degree, third degree. In the first degree, fundus will be bending backwards and it will point towards till the sacral promontory. In the second degree, the fundus will be lying in the sacral hollow. It will be bending backwards and it will be lying in the posterior part of the sacrum, which is known as hollow of sacrum, but it will not go below the internal os. In the third degree, the fundus will be completely coming below the internal os. So these are the 3 degrees of retroversion. What are the causes of retroversion? It can be a developmental one or it can be an acquired one. Developmental, how it is, which is common in fetus. When the fetus is not in a good position, or when the young children at the growing stage, if they are not sitting properly, if they are not maintaining the proper positions, because of that, as a result of this not maintaining the proper position, or because of the malpositions of the fetus, or if the fetus is not lying in a proper, if the uterus is not having the adequate room for the fetus, so at that time there can be a chance that uterus will be bending backwards. Or acquired as a result of the puerperal infections, or because of the pelvic wall adhesion, or because of any tumor. See, when a tumor is developing inside the pelvic cavity, there is a chance of uterus to be displaced from the normal position. Okay, so these all are the causes of the retroversion of the uterus. What are the signs and symptoms? The cervix, it will be directed upwards. It will be pulled upwards, and through the posterior fornix, we can able to feel the uterus. Premenstrual pelvic pain will be there, backache, and dyspareunia. Dyspareunia is difficulty in sexual intercourse. So these are the signs and symptoms. That is, cervix, it is directed upwards. Uterus, we can able to feel it through the posterior fornix. The women may have the premenstrual pelvic pain. Backache and dyspareunia is a common sign and symptom. So with the help of the speculums, or whenever we are doing a rectal examination, we can able to find out that we can able to see the fundal part. If it is a third degree, we can able to see the fundus below the internal os. So any speculum examinations, any vaginal speculum examination or a rectal examination reveals the retroversion. How we can able to prevent it? Emptying the bladder regularly. See, you have saw in the first picture that bladder, it is lying anteriorly to the uterus. So when the bladder is full, if the woman is not voiding in regular intervals, or whenever she is not voiding, whenever she feels the fullness, at that time, what will happen? When the bladder is full, there is a chance of uterus to be displaced backwards. Then doing regular exercises like Kegel exercises, any pelvic exercises will be maintaining the muscle tone so that we can able to prevent the retroversion. Then in the postpartum period, the women has to lie in the prone position for half to 1 hour once or twice a day for 2 to 4 weeks. So that the after, see, again this postpartum period means this is after the normal delivery. So after the normal delivery, the women has to lie in a prone position for half to 1 hour once or twice a day for 2 to 4 weeks, so that she can able to regain the strength of the abdominal muscles, and then we can able to lessen the chance of retroversion of the uterus. So these are the preventive techniques, that is emptying the bladder regularly, doing regular pelvic exercises, and lying in the prone position during the postpartum period, and only this is advised in the case of normal delivery. So what is the exact treatment? Corrective treatment is using a pessary. So pessary, it is a ring-like structure which will be holding or pulling the cervix backwards. Okay, and Hodge-Smith pessary can be used so that the cervix will be in a position, and that will be pulling the or helping the uterus to maintain the right position. Surgical, through a surgery, the uterus, see, if the supporting structures of the uterus such as cardinal ligament or round ligament, if there is any problem in those ligaments or muscles, those can be corrected by using a surgery, so that the cervix can so that the uterus and the cervix can be pulled forward, so that we can maintain the normal position of the uterus. So retroversion, it is the backward bending of the uterus and the cervix. Everything will come in a line in relation to the vaginal or the birth canal. That is retroversion. When only the corpus it is moving backwards, or when it is displacing backwards, that is known as retroflexion. Both the retroversion and the retroflexion is known as retro displacement. So moving on to our next condition, that is prolapse of the uterus. See, the prolapse of the uterus, it is a form of hernia where the uterus is descending from the normal position. It is descending from the normal, it is displaced from the normal position, and it will descend downwards. That is prolapse of the uterus. That is a form of hernia. When an organ is misplaced from its position, we will call it as hernia. So here the uterus, it is misplaced from its normal position and then it is descending down. That is prolapse of the uterus. What is the etiology for this? So the etiology, it includes acquired one and the congenital one. Acquired, it includes overstretching of the ligaments or the perineum, say example during the normal delivery time. So whenever there is an overstretching of ligaments and the perineum, it will be losing its elasticity and that will fail to hold the uterus in the normal position. The loss of levator ani muscles and levator ani nerves, that is another. See, levator ani muscles and levator ani nerves are the muscles and the nerves which is supporting the uterus. So, because of, if there is any loss in the function of the levator ani muscles or in the levator ani nerves, so that will be leading towards the prolapse of the uterus. And subinvolution of any supporting structures of the uterus can also lead towards the prolapse of the uterus. Congenital, another etiology it is, it can be occurring as a congenital weakness. Because of the congenital weakness of the supporting structures of the uterus can be prolapsed. So these are the etiological factors. So what are the etiological factors? Overstretching of the ligaments, overstretching of the perineum, loss of levator ani muscles, neuromuscular damage to levator ani, and the subinvolution of the supporting structures of the uterus. Also, this can be occurred because of the congenital weakness of the supporting structures of the uterus. See, prolapse of the uterus is also having 3 degrees. First degree, second degree, and the third degree. So these are the types. So first degree uterine prolapse means the uterus will be descending downwards, but the external os is still inside the vagina. Okay. In the first degree, uterus will be descending downwards, but the external os is inside the vagina. In the second degree, external os is protruding outside the vagina, but uterus is still inside. And in the third degree, the complete uterus will be outside the vagina, and this condition is also known as prosidentia. Okay. So, 3 types are there: first degree, second degree, and the third degree. In the first degree, uterine will be descending downwards, but the external os is inside the vagina. In the second degree, external os comes outside the vagina, but still the uterus is inside. And in the third degree, complete uterus will be outside the vagina. And this case is also known as prosidentia. So the signs and symptoms, it includes backache, dyspareunia. The women may feel that something is coming outside per vagina. She will feel frequency in micturition. Also, she will feel difficulty in passing the urine and stool. Excessive vaginal discharge, that is either a white discharge or a blood-stained discharge will be there. How we can able to diagnose? Inspection, that is whenever the uterus is descending downwards, through an inspection of the genitalia we can able to find out it. Also we can able to do a palpation technique of the vagina and rectum so that we can able to reveal the condition. A pelvic examination will also help in revealing the prolapse of uterus. So management. Preventive management, it includes at the time of delivery, all the injuries to the supporting structures has to be avoided. A nurse should be, or a obstetrician, a nurse, they should be very skilled in conducting a normal delivery so that we can able to avoid the injuries to the supporting structures. If any injuries is done to the supporting structures, that will cause the subinvolution of the supporting structures. Hence, the result will be the prolapse of the uterus. So, we have to avoid the injuries to the supporting structure of the uterus at the time of delivery. Then, encourage early ambulance. It means that after the normal delivery or after the cesarean session, movement, the mother should move as early as possible so that she can able to regain the strength of the abdominal muscles and the pelvic muscles. After the delivery, encourage the pelvic floor exercises to regain the strength of the muscles. We have to avoid constipation so that we are not giving stress to the supporting muscles. avoid weightlifting, strenuous activity, and cough. So all these things should be avoided soon after the delivery, and also avoid the future pregnancy too soon. So conservative techniques, it includes estrogen replacement therapy to make the muscles strong or to provide the support to the supporting structures of the uterus. Estrogen replacement therapy should be done, and we have to encourage the pelvic floor exercises. Pessary treatment is done, but that will not cure a prolapse. But the signs and symptoms, it can be relieved. Okay. And the pessary, after, it should be kept up to 18 weeks during the pregnancy, and then after the puparium also. Then the surgical treatment, if it is a procedentia case, then, or if the mother is having the adequate gynecological, if she has completed her pregnancy and all, then the better treatment is vaginal hysterectomy, removal of the uterus. So mainly the removal of the uterus, that will be done in the case of procedentia. So in this session, I have dealt regarding the retroversion of the uterus and the prolapse of the uterus. I hope you all have understood my class. Thank you, students.